And so we continue. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dethrone the Divine. It's been only a week because we don't. We've managed to figure out a schedule that actually works well enough for the moment. We'll see how that changes, given that one of us is moving and another is starting a new job. But you know what? We'll see what life brings. For now, we have
the chaos.
the chaos. Indeed, we have
Oh
the
god.
chaos. Speaking of the chaos, Salty, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm the salty sweater. I am playing Otto, who is a very smart robot guy.
Yes, Otto Sinclair, god of creation and discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Alongside Otto is my dear friend Vern.
Hello, I'm Vernadera. It's nice to meet you.
He's playing as
Sorry. I'm playing Mesa, the goddess of justice and the sky.
Yuppo. Uh, Previously a member of the Plumerian Pantheon, which are the antagonists of our story, once
Yeah.
known as the One Who Weighs.
Yeah. The weightless one.
And lastly, Nil.
Hello. I don't exist and I'm a fabrication of your memory. However,
And
today I'll be playing the god Foam, god of battle and honor.
yes. So, when we last left off, I'm torn between asking one of you guys to recap and just doing it myself. Why don't we start with what did you all do?
I made a bridge.
You made a bridge out of clouds
I made a bridge out of
because you
cloud.
couldn't get out of the city without going through forests, and the forests are controlled by the one who withers, and the one who
And she
withers
a bitch.
can detect you moving through them, and would just send people to kill you, or just use the plants to kill you herself. Fun
She a
times.
bitch.
Yes. Yes.
Can't fight me one-on-one.
Yeah, well, only one person could ever fight you one-on-one. Two now, but, you know.
He did.
We're getting to that. And then I believe I remember you guys had a drought problem. The food you
Yes.
could, scrounge around and figure out, but water was a bigger challenge. How did you
Yep.
solve that challenge?
Since all the water and stuff like that was tainted with the tears, and so like people could, or the gods could see us and kill us from the inside, the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We had to use Thoum's sword to get rid of all the magic out of large bodies of water that I built a giant fucking container for.
Yep. Yeah, in order to filter out Minora, the one who weeps, goddess of water and I believe it was sorrow. Now, anyway. You had to construct a large basin with which to contain and attempt to filter out the tears, and Thome just stuck his magic sword in there. Phrasing, but legitimately a magical iron sword that removes all magic besides
I
itself.
think it was better before you explained it, but whatever, man.
And you guys had almost made it to Fort Knox, your new bastion of defense against the Plumerian Pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
But someone found you.
Yep, Sarkuth found us. They're a powerhouse.
Yes.
Thome threw hands in the one-on-one and did really well until he was hit once and almost died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then Nasa jumped in and almost died.
Hey,
Yep.
I did a big cool ass thing though first.
Yeah, then you almost died.
Yeah.
And then I almost died.
And
And then I threw my stick.
Yeah, and then you got hit in the face with the stick, and then we jumped him.
Yep. I should turn down this light. It's bright.
The three
we
of us fucking jumped his jorts.
Yeah. So
We did beat Cucullin in the end.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we found out his name is actually Kukulane.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we all collectively went, well, we're dead. That's it. I don't think we win the fight.
I
And
give.
we
Yeah.
did.
Dealing with the most badass mythological being in all of Irish mythology was
Irish
a lot.
Hercules.
Well, Celtic mythology, actually, because there's also Wales, there's Scotland, kind of all over there. But yes, uh, wild. But you did manage it.
Yeah.
In the very last instance, Nasa, who had been struck by uh, the guy Bolga, which is Kukulain's spear, capable of infecting people with thorns that spread throughout their body and cause a very slow, painful death, uh, pushed those thorns back into Kukulain at just the wrong moment. At which point, they finally, after so long of being fed his blood and sinew, finally claimed his life. And then you all went into the lower level of Fort Knox to make sure that it was safe for your followers to inhabit. Now, I want to make clear that not all of your followers were ever going to fit into Fort Knox. It's large enough to house maybe 1,000 people. You have 3,000. So that was never going to be your only base. You would have to build around it for certain. But there is no fortress in North America more impregnable than Fort Knox. So it's what you had to go for. And Otto, who did you find in the basement level of Fort Knox?
Mr. John President.
What's up, Mr. President?
That is honestly not too far from his actual name. Um, yes, you found the current president of the United States, which has not been a country for over a century now.
So,
What the fuck? Wait, does this guy look over 100 years old?
No, he is a balding middle-aged man.
They kept the tradition.
Yeah,
He was
for
vocal,
real.
apparently.
I mean, good news is he's only half white.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
thumbs up.
uh, so you, we pick up in the silence that follows the president saying, "Returning Pantheon, you are in the presence of the president of the United States," with a bunch of guns pointed at you.
Thome takes the smallest of steps forward and puts his hand forward as gonna shake a hand from the sheer distance that's between them. Goes, "Hello, President. I do not know what that is, nor what a United States is, but it is good to make your acquaintance. Could you lower your..." He looks at the guns, looks at Otto. "Firearms." I think I got that correct.
Yes, good job.
Then he stands very proud because I got some of that right.
Why don't you roll aura for me?
Yeah, I just buffed this.
Oh. Now you roll 2 dice.
My aura's pretty good.
Mhm.
Does this count for honor?
I guess so, yeah. You're presenting yourself. You're fully within easy shooting distance. So yeah, why not?
1, 2, 3, 4 successes and a success on the divine. So 4 in total with the divine.
Four in total with divine.
Yeah.
I'll call that a slip. Uh,
Oh no.
he
We don't get shot.
he looks at you for a second, gauges you. The others do not lower their guns. He leans to his left and whispers something in the ear of the woman standing next to him. She is tall and well built, with what seems to be like an arsenal of different firearms around her. Otto would recognize these as a shotgun, a sniper rifle, a pistol, and an assault rifle strapped across her back.
Oh,
Though the sniper rifle is for
Hot.
short distance.
I said
She's
hot.
shit hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah, she's wearing sunglasses indoors.
in the
Obvious.
basement.
Yeah, in a basement.
In the
Yep.
basement.
And he leans over, whispers something to her. She nods and puts the rifle in her arms. Sniper, not
Oh.
assault.
Um,
Before he steps forward past the people with the guns and stuff, reaches out a hand and takes yours, Thumb. You could easily crush it. He is aware of that. This man does not feel any fear of you.
Fair.
Maybe a modicum of respect, but just a modicum. He shakes your hand and says, "Allow me to introduce myself properly, then. I'm the leader of a nation that should have been dead over a century ago." Hang on. I forgot names. My name is Ethan Foster. You can call me President Foster, if you'd prefer. If you have any titles, you are gods. Why not list them?
Thome puts a hand to his chin and goes, "And president is a title."
Yes, it's a title.
Mhm.
Great. I will refer to you as such.
He nods.
I am
And
Thome.
sorry.
That's it.
Yep. Of course, we recognize you. He turns to glare at Nesa. Surprised to see you here, Ways. More so surprised to see you fighting your own.
I don't think she says anything.
And project number D52. He looks at Otto. I'm shocked to see they actually managed a success.
Hello.
What name did you choose?
Otto Sinclair.
You're serious? My God.
Is my name.
Woo! Okay.
I look towards the two of them. Is my name funny?
No, this man is just being incredibly rude.
It would
Ah.
seem so.
My apologies. I didn't mean it to sound ridiculing. It's just you chose the same last name as your creator, probably without even realizing it. It's a little ironic, that's all. All right. He turns back and steps back behind the dudes with guns, and slowly but surely they all lower them. With his back still turned and his hands clasped behind it, he says, actually, no, he's just going to keep walking and say, "Please, follow me. It'll be better to talk without prying eyes."
Yeah. Thome actively follows.
Okay.
I think Nesa's gonna look a little like her brow raises. Like she can't see them obviously, but her brow is on the mirrors and be like, a little confused that they're being so willing to let her of all people enter.
Yeah, interesting, right? As you move further in, though, Nasa,
Uh-huh.
you realize pretty quickly you can't see very well down here. You're
She's
underground.
gonna Yeah, she's
Wind is
gonna
not a
stop
natural
moving.
thing. Hmm. Your domain is the sky, and the sky requires a surface.
Uh-huh.
There is no sky down here.
So she like steps forward, realizes she can't really see, and then takes a few steps back. I see.
Hmm.
Well, actually I don't see.
Uh, he stops. President Foster stops and turns around. I'm describing for the other characters, not you.
Yeah.
Do you require an aid?
Her hand like comes up and like rests over her blindfold. I assume she got her blindfold back from Otto.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. I do not have my eyesight anymore, so an aid would be required
Hmm.
if I'm to venture forward.
Miss Clark, if you would. The woman with the sniper rifle finally holsters it again, steps forward, and takes your hand, Mesa. Mind you, he's holding it very tightly. Not tightly enough to hurt you, of course. You're a god. But tightly enough to probably hurt the average human.
I have no intention of harming you, if that is what you're concerned about. And
That
then she'll
makes
start walking.
Yeah. As they're walking, she's going to say, that makes one of us. Give me an excuse. Dare you.
You will
Don't
get none.
sighs at that, but not like a god damn it. But there's like a small smile on his face as he's thinking of a particular person from his own pantheon.
Hmm.
And then he sighs again in spite of himself for thinking fondly of said person.
Yep. Whew. You follow. You follow the president down, further down the hall, until it's no longer a hall. You emerge into a large cave system. One with spatterings of like concrete and other such things. Um, Actually, no, there would be a door to this portion. At the very end. No, actually, they wouldn't have been able to make a door for this. They just had to break down a piece of concrete. There's like a hole in the wall that made up the original Fort Knox, and you step through that hole to find yourself in this cave system, where those of you that can see the large underground fields and waterways, aqueducts dug out for the specific purpose of propagating crops that are very well designed for surviving an apocalyptic event. Lots of sunchokes, lots of potatoes that are very carefully taken care of. Um, Lots of carrots, though not nearly as much as the other more grainy or starchy types of food. Um, the most unusual thing, aside from that and the amount of people that are caring for these crops, as well as the children running around and playing at the edges of them, making sure not to damage anything, are the moles. You see a great many little moles just living alongside the people, digging out holes for them to put their seeds in, getting nice little chin scritches and treats as a reward. And you pass by all of this, as President Foster explains. As you can see, Humans are far more willing to adapt than what we like to call the W's like to believe. Although, unfortunately, the one among you that I wish could see this the most is unable to. But I'm sure you can feel the lush earth beneath your feet, hear the scurrying of the animals around us.
She'll turn her head like towards the sounds and directions and say, "You've done well."
Not as well as we would like to, but unfortunately we can't go up onto the surface without them finding us. It's kind of irksome, to be honest. The moles are fine. They're blind in the sunlight. They can't handle it. But my people... Well, to be perfectly frank, humans were never designed to live down here. It's starting to get to quite a few of us. And he moves past... He says this as you're moving past the fields and through a series, like between a series of medical tents. Constructed, some of them are genuine medical tents, the bigger ones for certain, but some of them are just patchwork constructed from cloth and fibers, various things that they managed to find around, mostly burlap. And from these medical tents, you can hear various cries of emotional anguish, terror, or fear, pain. But it's the ones you walk past that are silent that are the most distressing. Disease is one thing. We don't exactly have the medical capabilities that the human race once had. But the mental debilitation that comes from living down here has been the greatest issue we've faced. I've seen a lot of good men and women and persons betwixt lose themselves to the darkness down here. Forgive me, I know that it might seem impertinent to try to pull sympathy from you when we just met, but I make sure that my office is past all of this, to remind myself what I'm fighting for. Finally, as you move past these tents, you arrive at the entrance to a smaller cave with two other persons next to it, each of them wearing a full Kevlar vest and holding more assault rifles. As you move down into the cave, I would say probably all three, well, two of you. Otto, you're not exactly substantially tall, are you?
Mm-mm.
But I'm fairly certain Nasa and Thome are. So you kind of have to duck your heads to move through this. But at the end, it opens up nicely. There are lit lanterns on either side with a full, like, long, wide ceiling. Up at the top, various little holes drilled in so that smoke can leave and not hurt anyone else inside the building, if you can call it that. Inside this little room, there is a desk with various drawers, a couple of filing cabinets, and this is the most shocking thing, especially to Otto, a functioning computer.
Ooh.
Oh, baby, you better plug in.
The president steps around it and takes a seat in the metal chair behind it. That's a little better. Apologies that I don't have more. I needed to use most of the metal. Miss Clark, if you wouldn't mind dropping the charade, I think we presented enough force at this point. The person next to Nasa sighs, says, excuse me for a moment, removes her hand from Nasa's, pulls off her own Kevlar suit along with all of her weapons and tosses them to the ground. They clatter
What?
without any concern. And Otto, you would notice immediately all of these guns' safety mechanisms were off, and she just tossed them. There was no gunfire.
No ammo. That was the rising question that Otto had every time. Like, how are you sustaining ammo right now? Where have you gotten this ammo?
They don't have any.
They don't have any.
They. Oh my god. How long
I know what I
ago?
must do.
You say how long ago?
Yeah, that's all she says.
Well, let's see. We've sent out 3 scavenger missions over the time period that we've been down here. Of course, in those scavenger missions, we managed to procure some extremely effective stuff. He taps the computer next to him. Took a lot of work just to put this together, plus all of the medicine that we use for the people with genuine diseases. Surprisingly enough, penicillin is far more effective now that that viruses and antibiotics have been, or rather, that bacteria has been given the time to lose its immunity. But in all that time, you seem to have lost a little too much. 3 expeditions was all it took for bullets to go extinct. That's the reason for you.
We've had our run-ins.
I've no doubt. You had a pretty loud one outside just now, didn't you?
Yes, that was something I was expecting, but he was far more formidable than anticipated. And that's saying something.
I did warn you he was not one to be trifled with.
Dome nods. I know. And I estimated him above my own strength. And I simply didn't add enough.
Hmm.
But somehow, the one you know as Sarkuth, what's his actual title?
Cuckoo.
The
No,
one who
no, not his name. His
the
title.
one who rides.
The one who writhes is no more.
We know. We saw the whole thing. He turns the monitor around, and you see functioning camera footage of the entire
No
facility, even the
Though,
outside.
though moves
Nasa's
kinda
gonna
quick.
whisper like, "What's going on?"
You feel Though move quickly past you and like leans in and goes, "I knew it. You humans have magic."
What?
I don't know what tech is.
Not exactly, my friend.
Oh,
Technology.
the other kind of magic.
Honestly, it's not far from the truth. Thinking about what the old world used to be capable of was. It all sounds like a dream. I've seen gunfire, sure. But not explosions, not missiles. And before this came back online, I didn't even really believe it was possible.
Hmm.
But hey, we managed it. Full camera surveillance and motion detectors across the entire facility. Even the underground. He
Is
turns the monitor back around towards himself. We initially were prepared for the worst when we saw you approaching. Rather than these useless hunks of metal, we had our more effective melted down knives, spears, arrows, that sort of thing. But We saw what happened. It's the only reason we allowed her down here.
That all makes a lot of sense. I guess we should get to the guts of it all. We require the base. But walking down here, so do you. And this place does not have enough room to house an additional 4,000? We'll say 4,000.
It was 3,000.
4,000 people.
3,000.
I'm going to say 4.
Okay.
It definitely doesn't. That said,
Yet.
to be perfectly blunt with you, we need to leave just as much as you need to occupy. Those tents out there weren't for show. People are losing their goddamn minds down here.
Mm-hmm.
And your people are going to need to be able to walk the surface every so often to make sure it doesn't happen to them. We're just not equipped. The mole men. Mole women? Mole people. Mind you, the little buggers are hilariously cute when you get to know them, but humans, we just don't get that. The only trouble is up until this point, we didn't think it was safe enough to be out there. What we don't know is how you've managed to avoid detection. And again, you haven't. But you managed to make it take long enough that Rides didn't manage to find you until you were right on our doorstep. And that's information we need if we're going to survive up there.
Unfortunately, I don't know if you can replicate how we went about that. We sort of went over the forest.
His brows furrow, and then he looks at Nasa. Shit. Okay. That does present a problem. And what about water? You must have traveled miles to get here.
Otto made he puts his hand up for like Otto to not finish the sentence and thinks hard. A filtration device
Mm-hmm.
to
Good word.
to
Which did
filter
include
out
Throne's sword.
yes, to filter out Minor, the one who weeps his tears. Also, I have in my possession Dawnbringer, and he just taps the sword on his hip. That means nothing to you. I have on my hip a sword that can nullify anything.
I see.
I have a proposal. It isn't ideal, but, and this also requires Otto to sign off on it. Given the schematics of your fortress, we could possibly extend its walls. Make Fort Knox bigger. Allow your people to live not in the caves, but outside. They would still be walled, but the sky could be seen and air could be breathed. Also, there would be an additional several squads and ourselves to keep a lot of the issues from spawning out.
And where exactly would you procure the materials to construct this expansion?
Um, that's a good question. Perhaps the city we came from? Or it's our trip.
Hmm.
If it's just us, we could. If it's just us, we could go quickly. I can lift. I can take the building we used as a base.
The three gods that came here protecting the 3,000 souls that arrived at my doorstep would leave us defenseless with those 3,000 additional souls to go back to a city and truck some buildings back here.
I could do it.
I would like. You can't go alone. I would like to reiterate this isn't a good plan. It is simply the base of one, a foundation. Also, not all three of us would need to leave.
So we would be left with one fledgling god to defend us.
And an injured one, if that makes you feel better. It doesn't. Diplomacy was never my strong suit.
I can tell.
Hmm.
Let me ask you another question. Why would Waze not be able to make the journey herself?
The fight with Sarkuth trained us all. Her more than us. And what she did to get us here also drained her.
But that was in defense of our people. If I was alone, I'd be able to move much faster.
But not with the amount of supplies we need.
Multiple trips.
There is also my invention that comes into play.
Which one?
I have a lot of boots that
Yes.
Oh, yes.
cancel out the
Boots.
detection of the greenery.
Withers. I forgot about that.
Mhm.
That's the sort of thing that would help a lot better if it was mentioned sooner. D42.
Otto.
Sinclair.
Sorry. Mr. Sinclair. Well then. If that is the case, then I think your proposal is reasonable. However, I require one stipulation. My people are the one to wear these boots. They make the trip. They help you pull the cargo.
Hmm.
How are we to know that they'll be able to handle being up top? They've been underground for so long, they don't know how things are up there now.
That's exactly why I want to send them. The sooner they get up there, the sooner they can adapt. The sooner they adapt, the better chance we have. And if we get to know this supply route, we can make future treks ourselves, provided we have the necessary equipment.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm not against this plan.
Neither am I.
We simply have to discuss which of us are going. Otto, I think you have to go to be able to dictate which materials we need.
I agree.
And if they're walking, either of us can go. Yes, are you partial to either?
She'll turn her head like in your direction, because she can't see you, cries. And say, you're the one who's trained in battle and warfare. Where would you want me to go?
He sighs a little and like crosses his arms, closes his eyes to think. Mumbles a little to himself, and then nods. I think you're best where you belong. I can stay here within the walls, within underground. You can see, breathe, and feel out there. You'll probably recover faster too. And if Otto's with you, I can't think too many bad things would happen.
Mm. I'll watch over them.
I know you will.
All right. Sounds like we have something of a plan here. But there's one other issue. The people you've brought with you. First, how many of these shoes have you constructed?
It was like a
Oh
decent
man, not a
number, wasn't
lot.
it?
It's like 200 plus, right? Not too many.
We have roughly 500 people down here. And only enough room for that amount of people. We send 200 up with you. We can fit 200 more. But that's 200 out of 3,000. What are your people going to do while these walls are being supplied and set up?
They can begin clearing the area and start prepping the land.
And what about food, water?
I think that goes into that, doesn't it?
Certainly, if you want to paint a big target on your back for weeps and withers.
Well, some will be staying here, able to purify the water with the container that I still have, even though it'll be a lot of work.
I can handle it.
And many of the people that came with us are very capable in hunting and stealthing and being careful like that.
I have a few we have a few individuals whom, once this meeting is adjourned, I think you should meet.
There's still a very good chance that withers will find us. Hunting and gathering was sort of one of the big issues they had after the towers first fell. But if it's the best we can do, it's the best we can do. Wasting away down here certainly doesn't seem like a good idea.
Well, together, we can make a difference.
With Wraiths gone, Sarku, I don't think they will be so quick to act again. They will stand back and reevaluate us. That is what they will do.
That's fair. All right. We'll go along with your plan for now. Whew. I must admit, I'm surprised. For gods, you're far more reasonable people than I imagined.
This is how gods should be. And then he cuts himself off and takes a deep breath. That is not a tangent for now.
Probably not, but maybe I'll hear it in the coming days.
Probably. Something you should know, I do not hold my tongue well. You'll learn that from how our lieutenants speak to us.
Understood. then let's get this operation rolling.
Wonderful.
So, whew. Asa and Otto, you're going to be working together for this expedition. Why don't...
Woo!
Let's see.
Oh, I do want to ask him one question before
what's
we
up?
do leave. What is the form of energy that they have? What do they do for energy to keep the cameras up and then things like that?
Before you leave, he takes you down a different cave, cavern, or what have you, a little bit further away from his own space, from which you can see wires running along the walls, taped with electrical tape to the walls of the cavern. At the bottom of it, you see several people running on treadmills that have been set to freeform, with a generator next to them. It's not the best source of energy, but it's functional. We make sure they stay well fed.
Are we allowed to use this room?
In between whatever other duties you have, certainly. Just
Well,
try not to overcharge the machine.
Oh, not me, sir. I have training to do, and instead of running sprinting drills up and down the barricades, he looks at the treadmills. This wouldn't be a bad alternative.
Fair enough. We also use the room to keep in shape.
Amazing.
I do plan to
Or-
find what
Go
I
ahead.
believe humans called solar panels.
That would be a godsend. Literally.
Okay. I'm kind of like just look around and take note of everything that I need to try and find that would benefit everyone.
Yeah, sounds good. Primary focus at first is just going to be getting those walls expanded.
Mhm.
Other building materials and such. And then you're going to need to figure out a way to melt them down and make them properly usable. It's going to be a lot. But if anybody can do it, it's Otto.
All invention is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think while we're walking around, Nace is like kind of holding the wall. Otto or Thumb, could I hold on to your arm, please?
Oh,
She doesn't want to admit that she's scared of the human lady.
of course. Do you want me to carry you instead? Would that be easier?
What? No, that's
I don't. Okay, this works.
just like holding your arm. That's it. There you go.
All right, cool.
I'm scared of the human lady. Me, Vern, is scared of the human lady.
Human lady who had literally a hunk of metal.
Yeah.
She had a
Big buff lady.
shaped club in her hands.
Whew. All right.
Listen,
So let's get some rolls going.
yeah.
Nasa and Otto. So you're off to retrieve some materials.
We're off to see the
Otto,
wizard.
what's up?
They said we're off to see the wizard. I'm sorry.
Otto, I'm gonna need a discovery related skill check from you. And Nasa, I guess,
Aura of spirit.
well, specifically spirit, probably, because you don't like. I mean, unless your focus is going to be keeping the humans you bring along in check and working, then that would be aura.
No.
But if your focus
No,
is on
my-
searching,
Yeah. No, my focus is on making sure that their backs are safe so they can work. May I use a divine dice with this? Because I'm using the wind and sky.
sure, I guess.
Yeah! Fuck! Oh, Jesus Christ, that is awful.
Oh, that's good.
A 3 is a fail, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so my divine dice is a fail.
Okay.
And then
man.
4 fails and 1 success. Nasa is not in the right headspace, clearly.
Ooh, boy.
Nasa's having a hard time up here, apparently.
Okay.
I can't use like a god point or something to reroll.
No. Sorry.
Damn it, why can't it be Pathfinder?
All right, Otto. What'd you
Hand
get for
on
your
shoulder.
roll?
It's up to you, buddy.
Hand on shoulder. I got 7 successes, including divine dice.
God, I love you
God
so
damn.
goddamn much.
Okay. So, fuck. So, Thome, you're standing guard pretty much, right? Just helping around.
Yeah, he's standing guard. He's like helping his men train, still talking to them, and probably trying to ingratiate them with the 200 plus people we just met
Yeah. Okay.
and the moles, because moles are cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I don't think you would necessarily need a roll for that. Your presence is just going to be a deterrent. I'm feeling kind of brain blasted right now, so I am going to call for a quick break, probably like a 10-15 minute break.
Mm-hmm.
While I figure out the result of those rolls, use the bathroom. Everybody make sure to recharge yourselves and get set for the rest of the session.
Oh,
All right. We'll be right back, everyone. You need to be
That's-
so happy that I didn't have the screen back before you said that. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the break. Had to adjust my lighting. That light was fucking hurting. Oh boy. So, right. Otto, you said you got 7 successes, including a divine. Asa, you got
Yes.
1 success.
And a
excluding.
failure on my divine dice.
Okay.
Listen, I'm having Nasa's still recovering. She's having a bad time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. You head off in the direction of New York City to procure some more materials to develop a surrounding extra wall set for Fort Knox. Equipped with your little smart shoes, Otto, the people that have that were underground for so long finally get to step out into the sunlight. Now it's definitely abrasive at first. It takes a while for them to get used to it. They're like holding their hands in front of their eyes as they're walking around, but after a couple of days,
I was gonna ask, can I make it like overcast?
sure,
So that way that it's not so bright on them.
yeah, you keep a bit of cloud cover over them as they move. It's still super bright, but they're able to
Yeah.
adjust faster. And once they've adjusted to that, you remove the cloud cover slowly to allow them to
Yeah.
adjust to the rest. Once they've gotten adjusted, they are... A lot of these people have very pale skin from being underground so long.
Yeah.
They don't really move the way that people do. They don't have a lot of urgency, a lot of vibrance, a lot of energy. But once they get like real sunlight, you see a lot of them beaming as they walk. Happy, joyous, and looking around at everything with abundant curiosity, with naivete, with vulnerability. But Nasa had to step away, so we'll worry about Otto. Otto, your focus is on making sure that you know exactly what you need to get, and checking off in your head where you've seen that in the city before. By the time you do get to the city, you are confident that you will be able to take not everything you would possibly need with this one trip, but certainly everything of the most immediate concern. The supplies for solar panels, especially, are easy. All that is a bunch of mirrors coupled with some proper electrical equipment, and there's a full-on factory not too far from where your base was stationed. And there's another factory from which you emerged. Both of those would have an abundance of electronical equipment. Electronic. And as for the concrete and other such things, that's easy enough to melt down, to remix into a slurry, and there's plenty of rebar to work with. You're fairly confident that you can get one layer of walling, one expansion layer done alongside setting up those solar panels. Plus, maybe some extra bits and bobs that you hadn't thought of previously.
Yes.
Fixing up different mechanisms around the base and what have you. In particular, actually, there are a few malfunctioning, like, blast doors across the surface of the fort that you're pretty sure you could fix up with just some easy oil and a decent amount of the correct metal, which would also be easy to find amidst the concrete and ceramics.
Perfect.
Nasa, have you returned yet?
Seems not.
Well,
Since Nasa's not back, I do want to see if what I can carry personally that is the most impressive parts of the remains of Jupiter, if any at all.
hmm.
Any of like the technologically
You
most
did get a
impressive parts of it.
boost. So, sure. You are able to retrieve. It takes some heavy lifting. And you kind of have to build a whole ramshackle cart to make this possible. But the object in Jupiter's chest, the thing that created that big ass laser in the middle of the fight, you are able to procure that. And once you've done so, you're able to properly identify it somehow through a length of just luck, or perhaps a lot of time and intentional effort. Derize managed to procure the Large Hadron Collider. And
Oh,
The what?
the Large Hadron Collider.
What
You don't know?
no.
It is a piece of machinery that is able to collect data on the smallest of particles, which no other machine in the entire world is capable of collecting. Like, let me go ahead and I'm gonna Google this. We're gonna
Yeah,
turn
that
this
sounds
into
like
a bit of
something
a
Derize would have.
Large Hadron Collider. Is the world's
That sounds
largest
like
and
something Google would
highest
have.
energy particle accelerator. It was
Fuck
built
me.
by the European Organization for Nuclear Research between 1998 and 2008 in collaboration with over 10,000 scientists and hundreds of universities and laboratories across more than 100 countries. Now, the entire collider is not stuck inside this thing's chest. It's a very long, very intricate piece of machinery. At least it would be if Derize had taken it wholesale and just left it as it was. But Derize had a century to not just procure this thing, but work on it. And it ought to be a testament to the one who wonders that they turned probably a mile-long piece of tech into something you could compress to the size of a car. And therefore, something you can bring home with you.
oh yeah. Guys, I think we're about to have a fucking laser turret on the top of our place.
So, that's what you will discover when you get there. On the way, I don't know if you heard everything that I was saying, Nasa, but the people of the United States,
Mm-hmm.
all 200 of the 500 that you were able to bring with you,
Yeah.
are so overjoyed to experience the wonders of the sun, something they've never seen before, never felt before, that they get a little lost. And I don't mean lost in the moment. I mean they
Uh-oh.
threaten to get literally lost on the way to New York.
Oh, jeez.
they wander off because of some, a butterfly or some creature they saw scampering in the grass. They find some irregularity on a tree that they really want to have a closer look at. You're not able to find and stop all of them. I mean, if you really think about it, imagine if you gave a newborn infant the full reign and ability to see the world with their own 2 feet and hands. Not any god would be able to stop them if they really wanted to. Humans are curious creatures, adventurous ones. And it is through this curiosity and adventure that you unfortunately lose.
Fuck me.
You unfortunately lose 30 of the 200 souls that are brought with you. You don't know if they're dead. Hopefully, a lot of them aren't. But they're all missing.
When we reach New York, is it possible for her to go back and look for them?
It'll be possible for her to look for them on the way back, but you don't have a
Okay.
lot of time. The more time you take on this adventure, the more likelihood that others will get lost.
Yeah, fuck. Okay, I'll look for them once our mission is over. They were warned not to stray from the path.
They were. And luckily, a lot of them listened, but you knew that some of them would.
Humans. Inherently flawed creatures.
Yep. So, on the way back, Nasa, you try to look for them. Why don't you give me another spirit check? See what you can find. Otto has the ability to keep watch of the ones still with them. They're going to be logging a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So actually, Otto, why don't we switch places? You go ahead and roll an aura check to keep everybody in line.
Oh, okay. The fuck is my aura? Oh, 5. That's not bad.
You want me to roll spirit? What am I doing? Am I using can I use my wind to look for them?
You kind of have to. You don't have any other method.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so divine dice it is. Yeah.
I don't have a divine
Fuck.
die for this, I don't imagine.
Okay.
Yeah, not really. You're just stuck with the 5.
Oh. Oh,
Everything
oh no.
everything but my divine dice is a success.
And that's how many dice besides divine?
5.
Okay.
5 successes.
Okay. Otto, what'd you get?
I got 2 out of 5 successes.
All right. The good news, Nasa, is you are able to track down every single one of the people you lost. Bad news is 5 of them are dead. Either by getting found by some wild animal that they weren't prepared for, or, in the case of 3, being choked to death by plants. But only 3 of them.
Well, fuck. Okay.
The remaining 25 you are able to find and bring back. Unfortunately, by the time you've done that,
Son of a bitch. Oh no, he's rolling dice. I'm scared.
200 of them are dead.
Mommy, please. Please be gentle.
yeah,
Mother.
that's a little much. I'm gonna
Oh man.
unfortunately, by the time you have done that, another 52 that were just holding a bunch of hunks of concrete
Son of
and
a
various
bitch.
other necessities either dropped their stuff because they got distracted by something else, or took the stuff with them into the woods, or just straight
God.
up got lost, like got separated from the group. Otto, unfortunately, while you did your best isn't necessarily going to be enough to corral 170 people.
People are the machines. They can't handle curious
So
people.
you lose 52, you gain 25. That puts you at 180 plus 5. That's 143.
Nasa just fucking dragging her hands down her face, like,
Mhm.
humans.
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 Oh,
Literally, they haven't been outside for very long. They're very, very curious and happy.
in the meantime, back at base, your trek would have taken maybe a. I mean, even without the amount of people you had, it still would have been a pretty long time. We'll say the total trip took about 2 weeks.
Jesus.
Um, Now, Nasa, if you had been completely alone, you could have done it within a couple of days. But you wouldn't have been able to bring back nearly as much stuff.
Fair enough.
You are able to bring back the full materials to expand the building once. You're able to expand the walls once to allow for a lot of housing. That's probably not going to be enough in the long run. But one expansion allows for more, and you guys don't necessarily have to lead those others. As while you are gone, you are spending your days managing all of your people back home. And that is going to need an aura check.
Can I use? Geez, can I use honorable or honor?
Sure, you might need that.
Oh,
I mean, it sort of makes sense. You have taught these people, they're your people. You've taught them a code of honor. And they know that code of honor involves listening to your word and following through on their promises. So,
okay.
sure.
I don't even know why I was worried. I rolled fantastic.
Oh, yeah?
I got 5 hits and a success on the divine.
Nice. Okay, yeah. That's a boost actually. So you're able to run the tight ship that you're used to running. Even with the difficulty of locating and purifying water and locating extra food. You're able to keep things stable. Not perfect, mind you. You are always going to lose some people on this trip. And while the few casualties you do suffer at the hands of plants, animals, or other such problems are unfortunate, you learn something from every one. Your people learn something from every one. And some of those losses result in a significant change. Why don't you decide what boost you would get? This has to be something that relates to the people that you are shepherding. And honestly, that's kind of the only limitation. It can't be something personal to you, and it's not information based. Your people gain something from this experience.
I'm gonna say, while traveling and having to adapt to this completely new area and this rather large influx of completely new people. Other than patience, because that's just a given, because too many people are talking to you now, I think they learn more camaraderie. They're better at working with each other now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Back when Ares found these people, they were not so much a brotherhood of sorts as they were just trying to survive. But loss brings people together. And by the time you have finished with keeping them safe and strong, it has brought these people together. They are no longer just disparate individuals trying to survive. They're a unit working under you. You also are able to have some more conversations around the base. In particular, at one point, uh, President Foster steps out of Fort Knox to see the sun. He is accompanied by his guardswoman and a few other individuals, none of which have the faulty weapons you saw before. None of which have any weapons at all at this moment. And even his guards are taken aback by the immense brightness of the world around them. All of them are wearing sunglasses for a very reasonable reason this time. And he steps over to have a look at this purifier that you are currently working on. Well, that's a fascinating little piece. So what, you just put the sword in there and everything's good?
I am told it's more than that. As I said, the exact same thing.
Hmm.
The sword acts as a initial purification, but Otto added quite a bit to it to make sure that would stick.
Understood. Well, so long as it's not going to pull my tongue out of my mouth, that's very helpful.
Yes.
You mentioned. Sorry.
He just the idea that you had to be in fear of drinking the thing that gives you life. He just shakes his head. Isn't something someone should ever have to get used to.
You've held that sentiment before. Seems like you really disapprove of what the Plumerian Pantheon has done to this world.
It's not what a god is supposed to do.
Isn't it?
He takes like a very noticeable step away from the purifier. As he grips his fist. No. God should be led with honor to shepherd those who don't understand what's happening.
And what
By
about
example.
those. Sorry.
That's it.
And what about those who do understand? What does a god do to them? Or the ones who think they understand, but have the wrong understanding? What then?
Much like an instructor, you teach them. There's always going to be one or two nails that want to go against the grain, that think they're smarter, better than others. And occasionally, you have to do things you don't want to do. I'm not that naive to believe that everyone will just want to work together. But a god has power, abilities that mortals don't have. And with that has to come a sense of responsibility, a sense of urgency. If not, then we're all just bullies waiting to happen.
I have a son. His name is Xavier. I keep him out of prying eyes to ensure the safety of humanity as a whole. I think, honestly, the way you describe being a god is sort of like being a parent. Let them explore, let them understand, let them experiment. Teach them when they need a lesson.
Always be there to help, but never force. Otherwise, no one will learn anything. They'll become too dependent. And if humans become too dependent, then, well,
We stop evolving.
yes.
I'm told that's what happened before the Pantheon came. That little machine that you saw so many different visuals on, we had hundreds of them. Hell, millions. Each of them showed different images. Plenty of them showed images that don't even exist. Things we dreamed of, wished were real. And we spent so much time wishing that things weren't the way they were. We forgot to change the way they are. Sometimes I'm grateful for what those monsters did to us. Yeah, we're stuck living down in a hole. But we could be stuck living in our heads. I don't know which is worse. So maybe a god like you can teach this mortal fool what living is really about.
Only if this mortal fool will teach a young god what it means to be human.
He just kind of smiles to himself for a second. You are the least pompous overlord I've ever thought that I would meet.
He sighs as he looks off. You are not the first to tell me that.
It's honestly hilarious. I can see why Writhes was so pissed off by you. You know, I actually met him once.
Before all of this, ideally? Or.
No.
Ah,
I joined one of the expeditions. The first two were before I was born, but the third, I saw what happened. The first two were taken down by Risen. We managed to avoid them. The third learned how they worked. But we didn't realize the extent to which we were being watched. Sarkuth himself came for us. He killed everyone on that team. Except me. He didn't so much as harm a hair on my head. Said, the fools who live down below need a clown king to keep them in check.
I can hear him saying that. Doesn't sound like his plan, though.
I doubt it was. If he had his way, he would have let us all live. With thorns sticking out of our thumbs. But even hearing the other one, words spoken through his mouth, something about it made me chuckle. They called us clowns, but they still can't get through the fort. It was the first time that I realized that gods, as we understand them, they aren't some higher beings, no matter how much they pretend they are. That's why he was created. Your friend Otto, I mean. Man was able to build a god. So clearly, they're not so far from us.
Humans can also ascend to godhood.
So I've heard. I've been
Doesn't
told
happen
that
often.
one of them was one such person.
Yes. In their eyes, the world mistreated them dearly. And from their words, I believed them. But no matter of mistreatment can justify what they have done.
Yeah,
But you are right. Us gods are the same as you. We operate a little differently, but from what I'm learning from watching my men, I'm understanding that so does everyone.
oh, it's nice to hear someone else say it.
Let me ask you one question. Do you like leading these people?
You want to know the difference between a king and a president? A
Yes.
king is chosen by fate or gods or themselves. They make themselves what they are. Or someone else, one entity, makes them. The people choose who their president is. Maybe that wasn't entirely true in the old world, but it sure is now. With only 500 souls, we're able to have direct democracy. Everyone gets a say. They choose me to represent them, because I happen to be the best spoken. They call me leader, but they're the ones saving each other's lives, leading each other into the next step, keeping each other together. Me, I just give them a reason to. You ask if I
He's
like leading them. I probably might, if I actually did it. But I love the way they lead themselves.
and now that's spoken like a leader.
Hell yeah. So, Nasa and Otto, you return. Some 70 or so souls lighter. But a lot of resources heavier.
I thought it was we only lost like 50 people.
Well, okay, so you're
Because I
right.
got 20 back.
My bad.
But we lost
Some
50.
rounding up, it's closer to 60 because you lost 5 from the first group that ran off, and then
Tribes.
got 25 back, and then you lost another 52.
Actively sobbing.
So there's like 145 or so people coming back. which you will have to explain.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna blame me. I already know it. Nurse is expecting them to.
The people you already brought here, the some 3,000 or so folks, they welcome you back with open arms. Happy to receive you, happy to have you here.
Yeah.
The others, while they lost some of their friends, are like, even as they like have cried and mourned during the trip, they were able to see the sun. They were able to see the world, even just a small fraction of it. Something outside their little holes. They consider the people who died to have gotten the best possible end. They're not necessarily fond of the fact that they went, and I don't think they would necessarily be grateful to NASA especially for that happening. But they're not going to make a big stink out of it.
For now.
Work on the walls begins, and you do end up having a meeting with President Foster again. "200 of my people left with you."
Question, where are we having this meeting at?
Unless you objected to it in Foster's office. If you do object to it, you might be able to persuade him to have it elsewhere.
No, she'll just stay close to Thoman Otto. And she'll mention, like, I have a bad feeling about this.
One moment.
Oh.
Da, 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 da. Okay.
Hello?
Sorry about that. Yeah, bad feeling about this. Anybody have a response?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
High likelihood it will be fine.
So optimistic.
So, says, I send 200 people with you. You bring back 143. I can guess how it happened. And given recent conversations, maybe I expected a little too much for everyone to come alive. All I want to ask is this. Do we know that they're dead?
No. Only 5 of them are confirmed to be dead. For now.
5. And were they all caught by the plants?
No. Some were killed by the animals.
And of those that died, did any of them come back?
Oh shit, did they?
They didn't.
Nasa's gonna, like, be quiet for a second, and then, like, her eyebrows raise. They didn't.
See tears well up in President Foster's eyes. He did it.
Did what?
There's one part of the facility I haven't shown you. Sorry I didn't, but if you knew so soon, I was worried that you would demand your people have access to the base. Now that we're expanding and we have more space, we might be able to make it work, but come with me. He stands up and because he's like, urgent about this, he's going to try to lead you by the arm, Nasa. Takes you
She's
three.
she's pretty tense, but she's following.
Okay. He takes you three down to a just solid piece of wall that he knocks on 3 times. And it then slides open. He walks you through down into one of the deepest, darkest caverns of the entire facility. At the very far back of it, you find a machine. A machine that... Sorry, one moment. Oh, a machine that contains a few different bits and bobs that most of you will probably not, well, 2 of you won't understand, but Otto, you're able to make sense of this thing immediately. There is a massive keyboard and a large monitor. It's very blocky, very old tech, but it's connected to something far newer. A capsule of sorts, large enough to fit an adult human being, full of some strange liquid concoction. It looks to be water at first, clear, but it's more viscous, more slow. And slow is a good way to describe it because it is moving. It is constantly moving, in fact. Without any turbines, it's just sort of like waving at the top, as if you were staring at the ocean itself. And President Foster leads you up to this machine and places Nasa's hand upon it. Upon the capsule specifically. Nasa, as you touch this, you recognize through the glass the feeling of Menora's ears, but they're not right. They've been changed somehow.
What?
Like, her tears are a manifestation of her sadness, her sorrow, the emotion that is most strongly built within her. It's as if these ones have had that emotion removed. And now what you are touching is essentially liquid mana. Now you're not directly touching it, but as you've been using the wind as your eyes for so long, you are able to sense mana within the atmosphere around you. And while this may not be sky under here, it is atmosphere, air. You have some degree of sense, even if you don't have vision. So you are able to feel this. And Otto, you are able to deduce this. You are able to deduce a little more, in fact. That this machine, this capsule, being the size of a person, isn't an accident. People have been in there. And they came out alive. And that secondary fact is what is most fascinating and a little frightening to humans have been living so divorced from magic for so long that the only way for one to properly wield it would be to ascend to godhood. anyone else touched with it, with this pure dilution of mana, would be killed instantly. But people down here are alive.
How?
So, even though you don't understand a single thing that you are seeing here, you understand very well the feeling of Minora's aura. So you understand the feeling of her mana coming from this tube. But it's not her. It doesn't belong to her anymore. In a very real sense, these people have stolen a piece of Minora.
That is so cool.
Nasa, you say how. And
Yeah.
Foster, at this point, is kind of... I don't want to say inconsolable, but there's not really another way to describe delight that's this palpable. It took our best scientists decades to make this happen, to make this work. Those trips we mentioned, those expeditions, yes, they were to obtain supplies, very necessary supplies.
But it was
Some of
also a
them.
test.
Some of them were this. And yes, the second and third expeditions, those were tests. And they worked. After a quick dip in what we like to call the magic soup, they couldn't see us. I mean, the second expedition, they could see. It was a bloodbath from what I've heard, but the third, we were invisible. My meeting with Sarkuth, I was honest with you about that, though. We did meet him, but we met him by the worst possible luck. He was visiting one of the nearby townships that they hold near the cities when he spotted us. He never realized. He never thought twice about the fact that the bodies on the ground that he left, it took a damn long while for them to get up. He was monologuing at me for what felt like 20 minutes. And they didn't get up. I saw it, though. And I thought, I was worried that maybe it just took more time. Maybe we were still going to be found, going to be taken. We managed to bypass the water. And then we got past the flora. We didn't move past the pain, but after so long, humanity has found a way to cheat death.
This can block out Eisen's power?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it will work for you. It's pure magical essence. I don't know how it interacts with something that's already part of magic. But for humans, yes. Oh, you may notice that it's not full. The canister has a little bit of air at the top. That it was full to the brim at one point. Every time somebody comes out of there, they're taking a thin coating with them. It's not an infinite resource. I don't know if it can cover all 3,000. But we can get more. If we can make this work.
How is it made?
Pretty easy, actually. We use a filtering system, not dissimilar from Sinclair's, to pull together as many of the tiers as we can. And we collate them in a different canister, and this is the weirdest part, but we laugh. We sit in a circle and share stories.
You fill them with joy instead of sorrow.
Kind of. It's more of a cancellation, really. They're not full of anything anymore. It's like something about her magic just it doesn't mix with other prime emotions. Hell, we've tried it with other things too. We've had scary stories. We've shouted at the things when we're stressed. If it's not sadness, the mixture dilutes. Joy is the most efficient, though. And frankly, it's the most pleasant.
Her hand, like, gently glides over the glass. And she, like, exhales and, like, kind of smiles to herself. It's possible.
I would like to know how the others are reacting to this information.
I'm right now is thinking of the logistics and how scientifically that works. You know, that it doesn't make sense really scientifically, but it's magic, so it's fucking a different breed entirely.
Thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to. I mean, it seems to work for them, so. But he's trying to think of a more efficient way to do it.
Mhm.
So he's very lost in thought right now. But he's also thinking of ways to have this pure mana be useful in separate ways besides just coding people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe possibly, coding land itself or something like that
Yeah.
for large scale magical protection of some kind. But
And how does this make Thome feel?
That's a good question. A little uncomfortable and a little excited at the same time. Excited because this is magic. It's in tech, but they did magic, which means magic's not gone. But the fact that they could do this is a little unnerving.
I bet.
Yeah, that's also, that's kind of part of someone I used to know in there.
Yeah.
So he probably looks really confused and is actively not like approaching the filter, I'll call it.
Hmm. I know this isn't necessarily an extremely tactical thing, but fact that it wasn't for nothing. And the friends I lost, they actually got to go somewhere when they died. It, hearing this means the world to me, Nasa. It
She
means
turns
everything
to him a little bit.
to all of us. Sorry. I think I need to sit down. He.
Makes sense.
Sorry?
Thom just whispers like that makes sense.
He's gonna turn and like move to leave, and then stop himself and be, "Oh, I'm sorry. Security clearance. Even I'm not allowed to be in here alone. If you wouldn't mind following me out."
Of course.
She turns back to everybody like, "Can I get a hand?"
Um, immediately, Foster is like helping to lead you out. His grip is far kinder than Miss Clark's was.
Well, that's
Otto,
nice.
'cause you're the only person in the room who can kind of tell right now. Thoma's hands on like the hilt of his sword, which you've probably realized at this point is his nervous tick.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really bad nervous tick. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that's it.
Okay. Otto would put a hand on your shoulder, but not say anything as we walk out.
When you reach the rest of the cavern, finally, when you reach the end of the cavern, President Foster thanks you again for everything. He says he plans to address his people and explain to them what happened to the others. He asks if you wouldn't mind searching for them, while he arranges for separate for establishing supply chains using the new information that they have. Otto, I'm gonna assume you float the idea of coating the land to try to hide their tracks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He takes that to heart for sure. Says they definitely don't have enough to do that yet, but if they can find a way to mass produce this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then that's very possible. Until then,
That
they'll
will
just have to
definitely-
use your boots.
Definitely be my next priority past housing and proper space for everyone is finding a way to make that a more constant.
Absolutely, yeah. So you all enter the manufacturing stage in a sense. I'm gonna say somebody has to be on guard duty. Somebody has to be on building. I assume that's gonna be Otto. And
Yep.
somebody has to be managing these trade routes in a sense. Who's gonna be doing what? So guarding the base, managing trade routes.
I mean, thinking about it, I think Nasa's best to do trade routes because she can just float above them.
Mm-hmm.
She gets more of an actual view on the battlefield. It's not really a battlefield, but still.
Might become one.
Combat
Everything
Yeah.
is a battlefield for Thom. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
That's how he thinks. It's the only way he knows how to think.
Mm-hmm.
He's a soldier, not a. I had people who did my thinking for me.
Hi.
Does that sound like a reasonable arrangement for you, Nasa?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I guess we're just sticking to the usual then. Same rolls as before. Everybody give me a skill roll from Otto, an aura roll from Thome, and a spirit roll from Nasa, each with your divine dice.
Dope.
Yay! My dice glow in the dark.
Ooh.
Heck yeah.
I got 5 successes
Jesus
and a divine
fucking
success.
Christ.
Okay.
Wait, 4s are successes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
3s are failures?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got so many fucking 3s, brother.
Ooh.
I think I need to just constantly play this game because this is the only game I roll decent in.
I think this is the game I roll the worst in sometimes.
I mean,
Sometimes,
you
yeah.
have your day. Yeah, you have your days.
I have some. Last session, I got some really good ones. This session, So, I rolled 5 dice plus my divine dice, so 6, right?
Yep.
I have 1 success. It's not my divine dice again.
Oh,
Oh,
my
man.
gosh, I'm so sorry.
What is that,
Okay.
like twice in a row now?
Okay.
Nasa's
Hmm.
having a time this week.
Yeah.
This
Uh,
session, she is not doing well after what happened with Sarkuth, I think.
That's rough,
She's
buddy.
got a lot of on her mind.
What did you say? So, what did you say your result was?
5 successes, 5 successes with divine.
Okay. And Otto, what was yours?
8 successes, including divine.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus
Jesus
I have
Christ.
failed 1.
Okay. All right.
Nasa's holding the
So
party back this week.
the good news is, this next expedition, now that you know exactly where you're going, it's very fast. It's a week long. During that week, Otto, you complete expansion with a lot of help from your people, obviously, but you have thousands of them.
Oh, yeah.
You complete the next set of walls. And as a bonus, you're able to set up those solar panels you talked about earlier, not only providing power to that one computer, but proper lighting to the entire underground, and the rest of the fort, obviously. Speaking of which, the surface of the fort you guys have housed your own people in, as well as the shorter wall surrounding it and the other gated areas. Even as you're expanding outward with another wall, these walls are not as sturdy as Fort Knox's own. Fort Knox has incredibly thick concrete and steel reinforced walls, but they're sturdy enough to at least be a deterrent. And they're far enough apart that you are able to house pretty much everybody within them. Not full houses, of course, just like tents and such, but basically the same living situation they had before. And during all of that time, home, you got incredibly lucky. Actually, before I do Thome, Nasa,
Uh-oh. No, don't worry about me. I'm good.
Well-
I'm good, Doug.
hold on, which should I take care of first? Actually, yeah, we will take care of Thome first. You caught several different woodland creatures that had pretty decent probabilities of attacking your own, in particular boars, and I think there would have been one leopard you managed to cut down that were threatening to approach the area. Made for a nice treat for some of your folks. And additionally, on one of the days that you come back from your rounds, Marcus comes to find you. He's stammering and just like freaking out as he runs up towards you with his sword on his hilt. You notice the sword is bloodied. He was also patrolling along with you. Well, not next to you, obviously, but he was patrolling his own section.
Marcus is Thome's guy, right?
Yes, Thome's champion.
Where the fuck is Rowan?
Oh, Rowan has been helping to keep the peace around the area.
Okay,
Tensions
good.
have run high every so often, and he's the first to step in and mediate. He's fine. Don't worry.
What a good boy. I love him.
Eula has been helping with the water filtration process. Because Thome doesn't exactly know how to work the water filter.
I don't know how to work it at all.
Yeah. And Tacreos has been composing more songs, as is his wont.
He's doing his best.
So Marcus comes up to you, Thome. It's like, Lord, I don't know what to do.
Oh, wait, I thought it was Nasa.
No. He comes
okay,
up
my
to
bad.
Thome. Yeah. We're taking care of Thome first. I'm sorry for the confusion.
Oh, okay.
Comes up to Thome.
He whips around and like hand grips his hilt. What's going on?
So,
If it's easier, bring me to it.
yeah, probably. And he's gonna turn and run towards the fort. Through,
Start. Yep.
yeah, you follow him through the tents, through the walls, through the gates that are like slowly being. There's electric fences at Fort Knox, by the way. They're slowly being re-electrified by the solar panels. Through all of that, you get to the main fort. You go through the entryway into the atrium. And you see something you definitely weren't. Standing there in his usual suit and tie is President Foster, with his arms behind his head, or behind his back. Standing around him are his guards, each of them holding a full reinforced steel metal spear, pointed towards someone holding a sword. Well, not a sword, an axe. A heavily metal axe. An axe that is extended towards the President of the United States. Ares, with a massive bandage around his head, seems to have gotten away from caretakers after he woke up, and is staring at the President with eyes that beg for murder.
Okay. He's gonna push through is probably the best term I could think of. And
Yep.
try to get two Ares.
Sure. Why don't you roll me Grace to see how well you manage to do that without making yourself a target of anybody?
It's 2 successes. I only have 2 dice, unless there's a divine in there.
Well, this is battle related. There's a fight about to break out.
That's 3 successes with divine.
So that's a slip.
Yeah.
You definitely don't go unnoticed.
Going unnoticed wasn't.
Yeah. Ares and the guards all like turn their weapons on you. The guards quickly move them back to Ares. That's your slip. That they don't suspect anything from you. They know you. Ares, his axe still stays on you.
What are you doing, Ares?
What am I doing? What are you doing?
You should be resting, for one.
How can I rest when the bastards who started the end of the world are right in front of me?
can't blame just
Okay.
all humans for that.
Not all humans. Just the US.
Oh. Don't close his eyes and inhales deeply. Okay. When we lower the axe and we use our words.
Words are for people, Home. The United States were animals. Animals you trained. Miss Clark, holding up a spear, speaks. What? You think we wouldn't know? That the atomic bomb was your invention? That you were the one who started the camps in Germany? That you are responsible for all of the worst war tactics that were ever devised by mankind. I didn't put those in your heads. He turns his axe towards her and says, it was human ingenuity that came up with the ways of torturing your own kind. All I did was shepherd you towards proper warfare. What else am I supposed to do? I'm a damn war god. So you take blame for getting us to use the things we invented. And yet you're pointing your axe at us. I've been told, God King, that you are a god of battle and honor. Yet you carry around the most dishonorable war criminal in history.
Once again, he does the deep inhale, slowly lets it go. Right now is the time that we stop yelling and lower our weapons. Things can be discussed, but not when tensions are this high.
I'm going to give you one aura roll. One aura roll. You were able to catch this before blood was shed.
Okay, so I get the exact same thing every time I roll aura. It's 5 successes and a divine success.
That's ridiculous. Okay. So,
I'm gonna roll
cool.
again just to see what happens. Okay, it was
I don't know. We'll air down. I think that's another slip.
oh no.
It's enough for the others. The humans, the United States. But we're talking about the god of war.
Yep.
The man who lives for bloodshed. For the cruelest, most terrifying ends to people's lives. He's not going to be talked down. You see it.
He steps closer to him and lowers his voice. I can't allow you to hurt these people. They're helping us.
Then you'll just have to stop me, won't you?
Ares, you have known the god of battle. You have known the god of honor. That is who I've been for you. For all that is decent in this world, that could be decent in this world, do not make me go battle. Do not make me kill you.
I want you to roll might. Might with divine, obviously.
There's so many dice. Oh, Jesus. So that's a fail. Divine success. That's a success. That's a success. Yeah. Okay. That's 6 successes with and one of them's a divine. I'd like to reiterate. I'd like to state for all those at home, this is an injured man.
This is an injured man.
I know it's Ares, and that usually doesn't stop him, but
Yeah.
well,
So
stop first, but
that roll was to see if the threat would be enough. Wasn't. But you strike first. Before Ares can begin the swing, you see the muscles tense in his arm to do it. You know that he's about to press that little button that sends his blade flying, and that it's going to behead President Foster. You move first. You know that he is not going to stop with a simple wound. But you're also in the best position to end this without killing him. So I'm going to ask you, Thome, crowned God King of Battle and Honor, which of Ares' limbs do you lop off?
his non-dominant arm.
Okay.
So in the end, he can still hold his axe. I can't do that to a warrior.
Mhm.
But yeah.
You dance around him and pull your sword up, and at the elbow, rise it into the air. In a swift motion, Ares' left forearm is chopped off, flies, spins, and falls to the ground. Blood spurts from the stump as he cries out in pain and falls to the floor. Marcus immediately moves to both subdue him and bandage the wound. Every warrior needs to know how to clean something up in the simple fact that a champion is able to subdue a god even in this wounded state should prove to everyone that he is not the man in the room right now. He is not him. He is just another person. There is a glint of treachery in Miss Clark's eye. One that says she wants to just stab her spear down into his neck and let that be it. But he saw how fast you move. He knows better. He holds back. For now. We cut to Nesa. As you are surveying the lands below you, you are extra vigilant to keep track of everyone on the ground. This time there's a mixture of your own troops and those from the inside. They're able to better police each other this way.
Yeah.
However, you still keep an eye out for any threats. You find them. And unfortunately,
Oh no.
you are not able to act before they begin to take lives.
Fuck me.
It is as if the winds themselves are changing. The temperature drops to an unreasonable level.
Oh no.
And you feel a part of yourself has been frozen. as you dive from your lofty vantage point to try to stop whatever this is. You watch as vines and branches reach out and grab soldier after scout.
Yeah.
And in your descent, you spot a point, a single space in which someone is emerging. Someone built out of twigs and twine. Someone who exists by the roots that spring from the steadily snowy ground
Yeah, there she is.
to form a woman so old she should have crumpled to dust eons ago. You slam to the ground in front of her, and she
Lyrics.
greets you with the most wrinkled, broken smile. Asa, dear, it has been too long. Did you forget about me?
How could I forget about you? Summons her scythe.
And yet, your pets trod upon my ground. What is this insolence from one I called a sister?
You stopped being my sister, she points her scythe at her, when you helped lock me under the ocean.
Only after you started treating these animals like they had value. You betrayed us first. I am going to enjoy freezing you solid. So, that is where we're going to end our session tonight.
I'm gonna fucking kill this bitch.
You can try.
I'm gonna try.
Yep. So, thank you all so
Grandma
much.
hands.
Yeah. And don't worry, the others among you will be notified that things are happening out in the fields.
Oh, they could tell because the sky is darkening and thunder booms.
How far away is this? Like halfway?
Probably like halfway between, and it's like a week-long expedition. So, actually, yeah, I would say this is actually like halfway back. So it's, maybe half a thousand miles, like 500 miles or so.
We'll see how far a laser can go.
Real.
Oh my god.
Okay. And Thome thankfully has a
Alrighty.
steed. He can get a decent ways in.
Yeah.
So, thank you all so much for watching, those of you that have stopped by. Thank you to all the kind words that have been said in the Twitch chat.
Aw.
Whew. Joining me today for this wonderful little story of ours has been Salty,
Oh!
playing as Otto Sinclair, god of creation and discovery. Nil, playing as Thome, crowned god king of battle and honor. And Nasa,
Hi.
playing, or rather, Vern, I'm so sorry, playing as
It's okay.
Nasa.
I've done the same thing.
Playing as Nasa, the once one who weighs, now just goddess of the sky and judgment, about to reign both on some little plant bitch.
I'm gonna fuck this bitch up. But first, I'm gonna play League.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
All right, everybody.
God.
Thank you so much for watching. Y'all know who I am. If you want to check out any of these wonderful people over here, They've got some links down below to their Twitch channels where Vern streams her own role-playing games, and Salty and I join in on that. So does Nil. And Salty streams whatever the fuck they want, whenever they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
luck catching
take it
you
easy,
fuckers.
everyone.
And you can't find Nil. He doesn't exist.
Nil is an
In your
enigma.
imagination.
Nil is Nil.
Thank you so much for watching. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.
Right.